lovely crafty friends, and we are back, and it's another day in December and another Christmas craft. And today we're going to have a go at using up some of our button stash to make these beautiful little hangy Christmas trees. Now you can do these in any colour you like. You can do them to match your decorations, or you can use them as little embellishments on Christmas presents, but I'm going to use them, and I'm going to use them in the green, and I'm just going to have them hung around the house. We're going to have a go at making some of those. So I've got out my bag of green buttons. I've got some yellow buttons. I have got some of these flowers, but if I run out of flowers, I'll just use just a yellow button to represent the star. Might even add a bit of glitter. And I've got some red embroidery silk and some green embroidery silk. And we're just going to add that red tassel at the bottom. And we might even add a little jingle bell, Christmas needs jingle bells. So I'm going to start with quite a large button. And then I'm just going to stack them, trying to get them in size order. Just mixing up the greens. So quite large ones. You want the ones with the holes in the middle because you're going to thread the embroidery silk through the hole. It all becomes a bit of a game of Jenga as you just kind of stack them up. I'm just going to keep going. Those two. Trying to mix up the dark and the light, and you'll see I've got quite a lip there, so I'm just going to keep looking for one that's slightly bigger. That one looks like it might be slightly bigger. So we can just pop that in. And then we pop that on. And you're just going to stack them up until you get kind of a decrease in size. Let's just pull them all out. There you go. They're everywhere now. So I really like that really big one for the bottom. And then let's just go in. Yeah. Quite a nice size. Yeah, we get that bright green one in there. I like the green one. Get some of those on there. And you can see I'm just building it up in size. That's quite a nice one. It's quite a yellowy one, but that will do. Actually, I'm going to save that one for in a bit. And you don't want to be sewing them until you've got them all in kind of the size you want. So just trying to work it out, because what you're going to do is you're going to sew through and then back up again. So I might put, is that one bigger? That's bigger. That's a little bit bigger. Let's go with that one there. No, that's the same size. Oh. I'm just stacking them up. So we've got a range of different colours. I might go in with that one. That will go there. I might even quite like the flowery effect. I might even just go in the edge there. Right, okay, so we're almost there. So these ones are going to stack over here, slightly smaller. Go in like that. Let's find a really little one. And just a really, really teeny tiny one to go right at the top. There we go. That's a really teeny tiny one. So let's swap that out for a slightly different colour. And then that really teeny tiny one that's going to go right at the top. So these are the buttons I'm using. And what I'm going to do is just take a length of embroidery thread and my darning needle. Oh, bingo. And I'm just going to start with the smallest one and just thread them on just one hole. Doesn't really matter at this point which hole you're picking, because they naturally will all fall in line. Just loading them up on the needle. Want to be really careful they don't fall off the other end. Whoop. Okay, really like that big green one. Right, so this is where you need that one there, and then what you're going to do is go back, but you can see I'm on those with the 4 hole. I'm going back on the opposite corner, because that way they will all naturally line up together. Keep going. Keep going. And then do the last 2. So we're just going to go, oh, I don't want to go through the thread, so go back and back. Okay, so you can see we've got our little Christmas tree shape, and actually this is where you can look and decide, you know what, that one, see, that's where I went wrong. I'm going to come back. You can see where I've gone wrong. I've gone through the next hole. That's why it wasn't sitting properly. Okay, let's go again. Okay. That's that one, and then let's go back through with the other side. Why does it work perfectly when I did the little testy one? And now it's been a pain. Right, so remember we're going through the opposite corner. Opposite, opposite, yeah, yeah, yeah. Opposite corner, yep. Opposite. And it's time for some breakfast. Opposite. And opposite. Okay. So you can pull that out. And there is your basic Christmas tree. Now you could, if you wanted to, just leave it like that. Just put a bell on the top. I'm going to tie it together, double knot, and then I'm going to pick my little flowery things that look like stars, and so it stands up on the top. I'm actually going to thread it like a button. So I'm going to come in at the bottom, out at the top. Okay, so that's your basic Christmas tree done. So we're going to add the tassels at the bottom. So to do the tassels, I'm just going to wrap a couple of times around my fingers. Okay, and then I need quite a length, because you're going to start with, so I'm just going to hold it there. So I'm going to start by wrapping it round that bit. And then I'm going to thread this back through the middle of that wrap. So that just pulls that wrapped bit tight. And then using this one, Just going to go through the loops. Going through the loops, making sure it's sitting at the top. Then, before I sew it into that button, I'm just going to find a little tiddly bell. See, I've cut them off something else. Okay, and then I'm going to go through the little jingle. So you just got a little belt. Now this last one, I'm going to come, see, I didn't tie the last one. So we're just going to go round through that one. So last time I didn't tie it at the top so I could move it to thread it through the button, but that's okay. So we're just going to come round a couple of times through that bottom loop. Okay, and then I'm going to go down through the tassel. Okay, so that then I love it when I get the shakes, and then just trim it up so it's all even, and then we have our little Christmas tree with a bell. How cute are they? So I think I'm going to make quite a few of these. I think I'm going to end up having to find some more green buttons in the new year, but I quite like those. Have a go. Mix up the colours, whatever your Christmas decoration colours are. Yeah, just have a go. Enjoy. See you soon. Thanks for watching.